Go.
So you figured that part out, right?
Yep, I figured it.
Alright, so just walking you through the 60 watt box here in the back. So this is the foot pedal. Really easy. It's in the front. Attached to the front. Left pedal, right pedal, and then this is a standby button. So on the machine, actually, do we have a key? So let's start over. I need to get the key. Alright. So, this is your power cord. This will go up, and this can come out and pull out, but it pretty much will stay in the lock position. You won't take this out at all. This is an emergency breaker here that stays up just like at home. It won't go down unless somebody knocks it down. I always tell people, like, if there's 3 ways if you turn the key and the laser doesn't come on, or 4 ways. It's either it's not plugged in, this is down, or this is disconnected. This is an interlock. It's a European device that they put to the door, so every time the physician hits the pedal, just like the X-ray sign, it lights up. Okay. We don't use it in the States on our holmium lasers, but machines by law have to have it on there, so this stays on. So those are the reasons that the machine would not turn on. The other one is the emergency stop here in the front, which is here. So this, like anything, shuts everything down automatically.
If it's pushed in.
If it's pushed in, yeah.
Okay.
It's in a terrible spot, but that's what happened. That's where it is, and then it turns. It's a simple turn to release it. So push in to go, and then you turn to release.
Okay.
This is the aperture where the laser fiber goes in.
Okay.
Let's see. Foot pedal plugged in there. Key, and I'll get you guys a lane here.
Hello again.
So you just turn it up there. This is the screen. It rotates about 320 degrees. You just let it load up there. You'll notice on the screen, the doctor basically, you guys didn't have your own, you just ran from 4 correct?
We ran it from 4
So the screen is symmetrical, so it's cut in half. There'll be a left side and a right side, they're identical. And that's basically allowing the physician to have 2 different settings on the laser at one time, so they don't have to stop the case to change their settings.
Okay.
And I'll have everything preloaded in there for you. And then, like I said, this is a standby and ready button, so the physician, instead of asking the tech to hit standby, they can do it themselves. It's like a 2-second pause. Not many of them are using it yet because they're just not used to it. But we're using over at Parkway because they have the same machines. They're getting more used to using it, but it's just muscle memory. So.
Okay.
Let's get it on here. So it runs through a little diagnostic test before it starts.
When you plug this in, do you have to push this to the side to plug it in?
No, I'll show you. So you can. The older systems, you did it manually. This one allows you to come up to it and then it opens automatically. So if you were still in the sterile field, you wouldn't break that. So
Okay.
You can do it
It
here.
just has this little thing that sees it and knows.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So here's our screen, our home screen when the laser comes open. So you have lithotripsy for stones, BPH, which we will not be doing, so irrelevant. Soft tissue, very infrequent. They'll be using soft tissue.
Okay.
Manual and loaded presets. So this is where we're going to live. So these are presets that the box gives us that are preloaded. So like soft tissue, if we didn't know, if the techs didn't know what settings to use, if the doctor wanted to cut a stricture or something, you just hit that soft tissue button, and these are the like recommended settings that they could use.
Okay.
Because a lot of the doctors won't know either. They'll just like say, I want cut and coagulation. So you would say, okay, left pedal is cutting, right pedal coagulation, and then you hit OK.
Okay. And it would automatically go to recommended settings?
Yes. So
Okay.
that's what they recommend. Left pedal, right pedal, yellow, blue, yellow, blue.
Okay.
Okay. So to start, I'm going to load in the doctor here. Oh, I'll show you this too. Same with lithotripsy. It has recommended settings for dusting, popcorning, and fragmentation. So the recommended settings here are actually very close to what the doctors are using for their presets. So like Dr. Raghavan, I'll let you do this here. So joules and hertz, are you familiar with any of that?
Nope.
So joules is how hard you're punching something, and then hertz is how many times. So the higher the joules, the bigger the ammunition, the bigger the bullet, if you will. And this is how many times we're shooting it in that particular time frame.
Okay.
So doctors like to stay somewhere in that 10 watt, 8 watt, 15 watt range. The way they get this is they times energy by frequency equals the watt.
Okay.
And that can get in the weeds with that. There's really no need to. So what you do to change these, because the doctors will ask for it to be changed sometimes. So go ahead and hit energy. So you'll just hit it. Yep. And then you go up and down. So Dr. Rockavan likes 0.2 and 50. So we'll go down. From 1 it goes down to 0.2. And then we'll click on hertz. And then up to 50. And so this is like a dusting setting. It's really low power, but really fast.
Okay.
Which, instead of breaking this down in half, it kind of just takes the outer coating off slowly and turns it into dust, and then you don't have big pieces to basket. They just kind of blow out.
Okay.
So that's what he likes there. And then on the right side, he likes 0.5 and 20. And then what I like to do, and you guys won't have to do this because I'll have it all saved in here for you. I'll just run it. So when we turn the laser on, and then Dr. Ragavan is there, and he says laser ready, you'll just hit load preset, and then his name is there, and then go, and then there's what he wants.
Okay.
So the only thing we're missing out is the laser fiber. So if they'll ask for a 272 fiber, or a 365 or 550, they will ask for that specifically.
Okay.
It goes in the little aperture there, there's only one place for it to go.
Okay.
And then you just spin it until it stops. It's about 5 or 6 rotations. And then the machine will say, laser fiber recognized, is this correct? And then you would hit yes.
Okay.
And at that point, we are ready for surgery. We have to hit ready on the machine first, because it's going to ask, is everybody wearing goggles? Is this
It's just making sure everybody's prepared.
Is this what you want to do? And
Okay.
then you say yes, and then it'll go to ready. This will turn green, and the doctor will have an aiming beam. And we'll go over this live too, so it makes more sense. But from there, he or she can start hitting the pedals to break up the stone.
Okay.
And if they say stand by, obviously they can do it themselves, or we can just hit stand by. So once we get to this, and the fiber's plugged in, we are just going ready, stand by, ready, stand by, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes the doctor may say, 0.2 and 50 is really not doing it. Can I go up a little bit? So then you just do that.
Okay.
Or it's too much, and we go down.
Okay.
Because they'll tell you, I want more hertz, I want more joules, and minimal is better. So slowly go up, slowly go down, and then they'll find that sweet spot. But with these presets, we've pretty much dialed in what they're using.
Okay.
A little bit more advanced. With laser technology, there's a long pulse and a short pulse. So a long pulse is the same amount of energy for both, but one is over a longer period of time and one is instant. So it's the shorter the pulse, the more violent the laser beam is hitting the stone. So being more violent, the stone can move. Right? So what they're trying to do, like the stones in the ureter, is trying to keep that stone from migrating up into the kidney.
Okay.
So I have everything set pretty much on long pulse because it's more of a it'd be like something like a pop kiss or like a really, if that makes any
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah.
So it's less violent of a laser beam. with long pulse, and I had them all set pretty much there. I don't want to get anybody into the weeds with that technology yet because they don't really use too much of it. This allows you 7 different settings between long pulse and short pulse. So instead of just one or the other, we can dial in somewhere in the middle. So a doctor can kind of what I call fine-tune their laser beam. Not many of them are doing that. The box is capable of it. I think that's something that we just slowly get them into.
Okay.
The most important thing is shutting the laser off. So the case is over. Instead of just turning the key, we shut it down just like a computer at home.
Okay.
We will hit this button. No matter where you are, it's there.
It's there.
So we would hit this. Yes, I'm okay with doing that. Because it asks you, because this machine only lets you use a fiber one time. So if we turn the machine off, we can't turn it back on and use that same fiber.
Okay.
Because it says, this has been used, you can't use it again. So it'll run through a little shutdown. And then once the cursor and the screen go black, then we're free to turn it off. Weak points on the laser would be this cord here. I would make sure everybody is aware when this is on the ground and not to roll the machine over. Just this can be pulled, over time.
Yeah.
I guess it could wear
I
out.
can see that.
Another thing that's in a bad location, I think. But I usually just put this up, wrap it around here a couple times, and it can just sit right on top. Like that. That keeps it away from the wheel. They don't have to put the screen down if they don't want to. Some people think it's better to leave it up because if you put it down, then it becomes a desk, and some people can put stuff on top of it.
I can see that happening.
It's fragile. So if you just leave it up like this, it's fine. Turn it like on. Well, I'll let you run through it if you want and ask some questions and just play with it because you can't hurt it.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. So all they're going to do is turn it on, let it run. Doctor's going to be doing, a little bit more, getting the wire. I would have the machine on just because it takes a little bit to run through its initial setup. I just go ahead and turn it on and once the doctor has the wire up, because we can always just turn it off if we don't need it.
Okay. I think it's just important to run through its test because if there's any problems with it, you want to make sure that it's even before we bring the patient in, to let it run through its whole thing.
Sure.
And then make sure it's all good before you bring the patient in.
Sure.
Yeah. What could be a complication? So say it runs through its spiel and it does have a problem. What could the problems be?
The problem could be, other than internal issues with, that interlock, so it's looking to make sure that thing, the black thing for the door is on there. The foot pedal is plugged in, obviously the cooling system, but one thing here is the blast shield, which you all won't really deal with. This is going to be more Trimedics and our techs that will come in every 6 months to do preventative maintenance.
Okay.
So here's the blast shield. This basically keeps the laser beam from going back into the machine and hitting the mirrors and the lights in here. So it protects the laser, keeping the beam going one direction.
Gotcha.
This, so you can look in here. The beam, it's just a little glass piece. It looks like a little petri dish on a slide.
Okay.
Your box comes with 2 of them.
Oh, that little.
Yeah. So there's 2.
This guy.
Yeah. So these are blast shields here.
Okay.
And they can only go in one way. The machine will tell you. It's really good. It has air codes, and we have a booklet for Michelle that has all the air codes. I don't foresee any of that really happening, but the machine will tell you what's wrong with it if anything is wrong. So that just comes out, and you would notice it would have like a black circle on it, kind of like it got burned or something.
Okay.
This is just a magnet door. So, go ahead and hit manual settings. Alright, so we are going to do on the left 0.2 and 50. We're there, and then 1 and 10 on the right.
So up to 1, and down to, oops,
Oh, you
down to 10.
go back to 1, and then actually hit the button that hurts. Yeah,
Absolutely. Down to 10.
1 and 10. Perfect.
And
And then I'll make her long click here. So to save it, menu, preset, and then add doctor, and then Simmons, S-I-M-M-O-N-S. Okay, now she's there. And then the nice thing is, so let's say Dr. Simmons says, hey, I want 0.4 and 30, or 40, mid-case, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And over here, I'm going to 8 and 10.
Okay.
When we turn the machine off, and we go back to Dr. Simmons, it goes back to
It
what
will
we
revert
had.
to
And
what
so
it
we
was.
can mess with this all we want, and it'll always go back to what we had originally.
Okay.
I don't see aiming beam being a problem with the fibers that you all are using, but here's the aiming beam. If they want it, if it's too bright for them, we can lower it. But they use ball tip fibers, which are enclosed, with, so the beam at 100% it still is diluted.
Okay.
So then, let's do another one. If you ever get lost, always go home. Always go home.
Home.
Yep, and everything's there. Weekend, if they don't understand the presets and the doctors, which they should, she was asking about weekend coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should be able to be like, Dr. Simmons is here on call. That's it.
Okay.
Plug the laser in. That's really all that they're going to need to do. Or call me. Or if they hit lithotripsy and the doctor wants dusting and busting, but I think that actually, outside of the presets, could be a little bit more confusing if they really don't know what the doctors are talking about.
Yeah.
I would just stick with this. And then if the doctor's saying no power. All right, so on the left, 0.4 and 40. Yep, and then 8 and 8. Oh, point eight. And the nice thing about this, so see how you're going up? The box will not let you do a setting that
Doesn't make sense.
it's either doesn't make sense or the fiber won't allow it.
Okay.
Because the smaller the fiber, the less amount of energy that you're allowed to put through it, which with what you guys are using won't be an issue.
Layout.
Yeah, reset.
Add doctor.
So this is Pfizer. Yep. And then now let's do 0.3 and 50. And then 1 and 10. And this is 1. And then 0.4 and 30. And then 1 and 10. Yep. Perfect. This is Fumo. And 0.2 and 50. And 0.8 and 8. And the doctors will never say, I want 10 watts on the left pedal. They always go by how they want that wattage split up. Schuster. 0.2 and 30. And then 1 and 10. Actually, let's go 0.3. And that is Gratiot. And 0.2 and 50 and 1 and 10. You can kind of see they're all pretty
What
much
is that?
all the same. Yeah. And there's an infinite number of, this is Emmer. There's an infinite number of presets, so if a doctor wants, special bladder stone setting or anything else like that, we can accommodate. 0.2 and 50 and 1 and 10. Perfect for hops.
You're a pro.
So,